pregame show.
Hello and thanks for joining us on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Ernie Johnson here alongside Shaquille.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner.
Welcome to the NBA here on 2K Sports, a special Martin Luther King Day edition. With Brett Barry and Greg Anthony, this is Kevin Harlan, and David Aldridge will be joining us on the sideline as we've got a few.
Well, Kevin, he acknowledged.
Thanks, David. Two teams tonight that love to get out and run. Brent, talk about some of the keys to being effective in the transition game.
Well, one part about transition, Kevin, is the first couple steps that anybody takes to get out on the break. I mean, there is a skill to running hard in transition and then secondarily getting wide in the lane. So many coaches are yelling at their players about creating space by getting to the sidelines as quickly as possible. Those two things can make you pretty dynamic in the open floor.
And the starting group for the Spurs, skilled tandem of Leonard and Aldridge at the 3 and the 4. The timeless Parker and Manu are the 1 and the 2. And it's Gasol at the center filling out the middle.
Yeah, if he gets enough space, LaMarcus Aldridge will get up and remind you that he's a big man that has mean intentions.
Collins. And he didn't get quite enough under that one. Aldridge with it. Guarded now by Prince. And Aldridge slams it in.
So blessed with excellent court vision, especially for a wing player. Ginobili repeatedly finds the open man.
Out left to the wing. Schroeder dishes to Dedmon. Back to Schroeder. Whistle on the play. Bucket's good. He'll go to the line.
He knew what he wanted to do all along. The teardrop.
And Dennis Schroeder plays the game with a real flair. Tremendous confidence in his ability.
Well, sometimes that gets him in a bit of trouble too, Kevin. You got to minimize some of the energy that you put into the antics that are happening around the game and put that kind of energy back into the game. But still a talented young point guard and a guy who wants to measure himself up against the best in the league every night.
Gets it to go from beyond the arc. Schroeder's got 6.
Well, Schroeder likes to drive first, now establishing the shoot first confidence. Love watching him rise up immediately after the catch.
Good.
These guys are like dentists right now. 4 out of 5 recommending a made shot.
They're in a great group.
11 feet away, and it's sent back by Aldridge.
There's that length and anticipation. Hard to get the ball over Aldridge in that scenario.
Leonard kicks to Gasol. Spurs passing it around. Here's Ginobili. That one falls.
Yeah, he has a little bit of trickeration with that one. Gets that one to go against the limb.
Wait, did you just say trickeration, GA? I think it's a size disadvantage there that he was willing to attack, but you have to develop that skill set and have counters.
For San Antonio, they've gone 5 of 6 so far from the field to start out the game. Here's Gasol, then Gasol with the dunk.
How about the authoritative throwdown by Pau Gasol, making his presence felt and rocking the rim.
Schroeder kicks to Collins. There's the pick. Schroeder passes to Prince. And the foul called on Kawhi Leonard. That's his first foul. Muscala, he's checked in for Atlanta. Ilyasova comes in for Collins. And here in the first, approaching 3 minutes played. Schroeder against Parker. In transition, here come the Spurs. And Aldridge slams it in.
I don't think LaMarcus is quite as explosive as his younger years, but still has the athleticism to get up above the rim.
The Hawks trailing. And Brent, for the Hawks, a new $50 million practice facility. In 2019, their G League team begins playing in College Park.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome that we're almost to every team having a G League affiliated roster that they can work with throughout the course of the season. So the Hawks became the 16th team to snatch up a G League operation, and I think that Mike Budenholzer and their organization will use that well, as they'll want player development coming out of College Park.
Parker with the steal. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
And part Parker is just so receptive on the drive. He just knows how to force the issue down low.
And Tony Parker in his prime, one of the best slashing point guards this league has ever seen. Just an outstanding finisher amidst the tall players. And one season, how about he almost led the league in points in the paint, a surefire Hall of Fame.
And the call will be against Tony Parker. That is his first foul of the game. Danny Green, he's checked in for Parker. Here's Delaney, covered by Mills. Ilyasova, no one around him. And once again off the mark by Atlanta. And a bit of a down year for Tony Parker in 2017. His lowest three-point percentage in 5 years. Lowest free throw percentage in 9.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to see him hitting threes at a higher clip. The previous couple seasons, he shot it up over 40%, and a great way, I think, to boost his offense, even though he has slowed down a bit.
Ilyasova, a screen. Here's Delaney. Almost, but it rolls out.
Well executed. Great rhythm. You've got to finish that one.
Well, it's like Thanksgiving out there, carving out space off the screen. Just couldn't complete the play.
And folks, he did not luck into that one. He knew just where he wanted to be to grab that backboard.
The feed now to Muscala. Pass to Bembry. Here's Delaney. To halt the run. That doesn't fall either. He's missed his first 2 shots tonight. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Laverne dishes to Gay. Here's Mills. Anderson, a chance to extend the lead to double digits, but it's no good. Here's Bembry. The Hawks again can't hit. And oh, here we go. Gay's got it, the fast break chance over Ilyasova. Here's Laverne, and Laverne throws it down.
And when it comes to rebounds, Laverne is relentless on the glass.
LaMarcus Aldridge has been on display for San Antonio. He notched 8 points in the quarter and has that terrific basketball instinct on display. And we've got more NBA action on 2K Sports coming your way after this break. Martin Luther. We've got Ilyasova. He's out there with Luke Babbitt. Bembry out there with Muscala. And it's Delaney in at the point. So that's the lineup for Atlanta. The Hawks trail by 10.
Well, Coach Budenholzer comes from a basketball family. His father coached for over 20 years. It feels like he was just born into it. Definitely what many would consider a coaching lifer.
And Ilyasova kicks to Bembry. And the foul called on Danny Green. That is his first foul of the game. Over to the left wing. Babbitt from long range.
Well, you can see why Green is considered this classic 3-and-D type player we talk about today. Challenges the shooter that time.
Out of bounds, Atlanta will take possession. While we have the chance, we'd like to reveal the list of the past month's best fast break teams in the NBA. Number 1, the Spurs.
I mean, they have really hit their stride in terms of that transition game. No doubt about it. They are playing at a great pace.
DeJounte Murray, he's checked in for Danny Green. Delaney kicks to Ilyasova. Good on the triple. Ilyasova's got the first basket of the second quarter for the Hawks.
Even before the ball gets to him, you can see Ilyasova start to position himself, gets his feet set, a good foundation to let it fly.
They're consistently finding ways to get the ball inside and taking full advantage.
Babbitt from long range. Rebound San Antonio. Laverne's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Mills in the corner. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Mertens, he can't get that one to fall. So the Hawks will take it the other way. They're coming off that win against the Nets.
And you know what? Up against a weak defense, they were allowed to do pretty much whatever they wanted.
Yeah, what I like, though, besides that, is that they just didn't settle for it, because weak defenses, you could take bad shots. That's not what they did here tonight.
For the Hawks, Dwayne Dedmon's checked in for Mike Muscala. Collins comes in for Ilyasova. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for Benbury. LaMarcus Aldridge is checked in for San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard comes in for Rudy Gay. Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Taurean Prince comes in for Luke Babbitt. And it's Bellinelli in for Malcolm Delaney. And San Antonio with the change here, too. Parker's checked in.
And that's the thing we know about Leonard. As a defender, on the ball, off the ball, he's rarely out of any play.
And with these new player tracking cameras, you see some very interesting numbers. The Spurs, one of the lowest teams in terms of pace and fast break points. And yet, they're one of the top teams, Brent, in average speed and distance travel. How do you explain that?
Well, what they do, Kevin, is every time down the court, they set up their offense and they run through their options. And that could be very frustrating for anybody who's trying to defend it. They're waiting within a 24-second shot clock to have one or two defenders relax, get lazy, and as soon as they do, the Spurs take advantage of it.
When it comes, Brent, to the subject of intimidation, there are certain players who are just downright scary, intimidating to play against.
Insert one Rudy Gobert. I mean, has this guy in Utah not done a great job, Kevin, of manning up the middle in ways that we haven't seen for quite some time? Both him and Hassan Whiteside, along with DeAndre Jordan, those guys are pretty good down deep in the paint.
Absolutely. The Hawks trail by 11. Parker with the steal. And the Spurs pushing it up now. And Aldridge slams it in.
Well, there you go. One team operating on all cylinders at both ends. Steals, fast break buckets, and the other team in scramble mode.
They set the screen. Dedmon passes to Schroeder. Shoots from 12. No good on that one. Good D by Parker.
Well, they've been better than good on the glass today, and there is a glaring discrepancy between these two teams in that area.
Man, it's close, but, didn't get on balance quick enough.
San Antonio making a switch here. Ginobili's checked in. Floats one. It's rebounded by Aldridge. Aldridge has got 3 rebounds so far in the game. And finished off by Gasol.
And don't look now. If there's anything Leonard could improve upon, it's getting his teammates more involved. Exhibit A, that assist.
Schroeder dishes to Dedmon. He feeds it to Bellinelli. Collins, a screen on Leonard. Here's Prince. Here's Collins. Foul on the play. Basket counts, so it'll be a 3-point play chance.
Really nice job to convert the putback opportunity there. I mean, he stayed with that play from start to finish. That's something we say about him a lot.
Kyle Anderson, he's checked in for the Spurs.
And you might have thought that with the big three retiring and getting older, the San Antonio Spurs might need to think about rebuilding. But the emergence of one Kawhi Leonard as a superstar in the league on both ends of the floor has extended this team's dominance.
Here's Schroeder. That's good, and that evens things out. 50-50. 4 of 8 shooting this game.
Schroeder continuing to build his confidence, shooting the ball from the perimeter. I'd like to see him square up and sink those Jays.
Here's Gasol, then Gasol with the dunk.
Yeah, I mean, maybe could have tried for a more memorable dunk than that one.
And we know he's capable of those memorable ones. And Tim Duncan retired, as we know, but Kawhi Leonard carrying on that culture of no frills. Brent, work and dedication to the game.
Well, there's no better standard bearer than what Kawhi Leonard has represented, but it's been built on the shoulders of Tim Duncan and David Robinson before him. The Spurs continue to go about their business, respecting the game and getting the most out of the ability of the players on the floor.
And that one's good. Parker.
And they are attacking the rim and getting great results.
Looking at the last game for San Antonio, it was a win against the Nuggets.
And just looking at the stats, you can see, man, they were efficient on this night.
Yeah, the defense did nothing disruptive in the game, so good patience. It led to good shot selection, and then look at the excellent shooting percentage from the field.
And here's the fast break. And Anderson gets it to go.
Anderson, he excels when he plays in the open court like that and has a chance to make a good decision.
Ginobili. And released it in time, but it's off the mark. And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair. It's San Antonio as they wrap up this. Thank you, David, for that interview, and we'll see you back here after the break for third quarter basketball.
And now, the 2K Sports
Welcome back,
Halftime
everybody.
Show.
I'm Ernie Johnson. This big mountain. LaMarcus Aldridge was the story in the first quarter. He had 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block. Kenny, what was your take on San Antonio?
In terms of their offensive performance, that was a very well played.
That's it for halftime. As the second half.
Thanks again for joining. Spurs leading by 19 points. Our second half of basketball, and presented by Gatorade. Let's see who's all fueled up and on the floor to start the third. On the court for San Antonio. Aldridge is at the 4 with Gasol at the 5. Manu is at the 2 with Leonard playing the 3. And it's Parker in at the 1 spot.
Love the follow-up. It's as if Aldridge knows where the shot's coming from and gets himself in great position on the glass.
And there's the call on Ginobili. That'll be his second foul of the game. And Gasol comes to help. Schroeder kicks to Dedmon. And Gasol sends it back.
Got to respect the reach and length of Pau Gasol. Outstanding job of skying up for that rejection.
And Parker stays with it.
Man, have they been effective at getting the ball inside.
Hawks shooting only 32% from the field. Plenty of signs of struggle by this offense today. Schroeder passes to Dedmon. That's tipped. Parker with the steal. The dish to Aldridge. And the call will be against LaMarcus Aldridge. That'll be his second foul of the game. And some changes here for the Spurs. Green comes in for Manu Ginobili. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. Gasol dishes to Mills. Leonard kicks to Gasol. And Gasol slams it in.
Always great to see Pau Gasol so involved in the offensive sets, picking his shots carefully and knocking down a ton.
Time called here. The Hawks decide to talk it over.
Kawhi Leonard reminds you of the way that people talked about defensive backs that can lock down great receivers in football. So suffocating, takes elite scorers completely out of positions on the floor where they like to be effective.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Laverne, he's checked in for Gasol. And Rudy Gay is subbed in for Kawhi Leonard. And Patrick Mills gets that whistle that time. And that'll be his third foul so far. And with Kawhi defending you, Brent, I've heard you call it being marooned on the island of Kauai. What do you say, the Kauaian Islands?
That's right, Kevin. Stranded, if you were. I mean, it's so hard to do anything against Kawhi Leonard. Even simple things like making post-entry passes. It just feels like there's more than one of him on the floor.
Here's Aldridge, and it's blocked. And he recovers it. Up and in on the layup. Aldridge has got 4 points now in the quarter.
They continue to be outworked and outmuscled on the backboard.
And Bellinelli kicks to Dedmon. And Laverne hits the whistle that time. That's his first foul. Hey, Brent, we've seen Hall of Fame players become coaches, but often it seems like the smart role player, they sustain more success in that role of head coach. Why is that?
I think, Kevin, a lot of times the role player is a conduit between both ends of the spectrum of your team. He can communicate with the star player. He can also talk to the guy who's the 12th man on the bench and make sure that both of them are getting what it is that they need to be in the best position to succeed. That's why you see a lot of players in that middle ground who do a great job of becoming NBA coaches as they understand the role of each.
And the work ethic, too, because for role players, maybe it hasn't come as easy. Whereas for a superstar, it was too easy.
That's true, Kevin. And how much work do you have to do with the most talented player on your team? It's pretty specific what his role is going to be. I think a role player who ends up being a coach understands the work dynamic of the rest of the team surrounding that player to create a great positive environment around your star.
Over the past couple years, Brent, we've seen coaches like Steve Kerr and Brad Stevens take more of an even-tempered approach. Could that become a coaching trend going forward?
Well, I like that both Steve and Brad have some very good players. That would keep me calm too, Kevin.
Yes, it would. You begin right there. I agree.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a shift in what it is that the generation of the younger players has grown up with. And coaches that have the ability to communicate always, Kevin, are going to come out on top. They get their message through, they keep their team positive, and they keep their environment pointed in the direction that is moving forward.
Excellent. There's Tennis, the pass to Gay. Here's Laverne, and Laverne throws it down.
Okay, 2 hands for safety. That's what they say, right?
That's right. He was ultra safe with that dunk, no question. 1:16 left in the third quarter. Here's Babbitt with the 3. The shot's good on the assist by Schroeder.
You really have to challenge him when he lines up from deep, or he's going to bury you.
Pass to Bertens. Kicks it to Laverne. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up. And we'll examine here how the distribution has been between 3-pointers and 2-pointers tonight for the Hawks. For San Antonio, they've looked good at the line tonight. They're perfect in 4 attempts.
And they've had really good numbers all season from the free throw line.
Bembry's checked in for Dennis Schroeder. Then for the Spurs, Gasol comes in for Laverne. And it's Anderson in for Rudy Gay.
The Australian-born Patty Mills, former second-round pick. Who knew Mills would someday win an NBA championship? Well, the Spurs did.
Babbitt's shot is off. Spurs have gotten half their shots to drop in the second half up to this point, going 7 of 14. Wasted no time on that one. Anderson's got 6 points.
Anderson's such a smart player, plays with such great pace, and concentrates on making high percentage chances happen.
Here's Babbitt with the 3. Buries it from 3-point range. Babbitt's got 2 now from beyond the arc in the third for the Hawks. Here's Gasol over Muscala. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2.
Pau Gasol always has used that length to his advantage. Defense has such a hard time with it, and that's how he drew the foul this time.
Gasol drops 2.
I'll throw out the 2-time champion stuff for you here, Kevin, but an outstanding big man, Pau Gasol, even in the later stages of his career.
They set the pick. Delaney kicks to Ilyasova. From 11 feet away, here's Muscala, and that's going to do it. Some good defense down the stretch to end the quarter. And so it's the San Antonio Spurs in complete command. Their lead at 28 points going into the break. They've been playing some inspired defense, giving up very few easy points. We'll take a quick break and then back to the action here. And thanks for joining us. Atlanta's gotten the 3-point shot off 16 times tonight. 7 times they've hit it, 9 times they've missed. We've got Cook, Miles Plumlee out there with Luke Babbitt, and it's Brusino in at the small forward position. So that's the lineup for Atlanta.
This is where you want the shots to come from, deep inside the paint and high percentage opportunities.
And White kicks to Gasol. Brent, it's amazing how the 3-point shot has evolved and how much it's being used. And some teams now almost entirely perimeter-based. That 3-point shot is the first thing out of their mouth. Can you see a team winning a championship that way?
I saw teams win championships. That's the Warriors and the Cavs. If you look at what they did from the 3-point line and the type of damage they did, Kevin, that absolutely was a huge reason why they were championship contenders. You could even look at teams that are qualifying for the playoffs as usually 6 or 7 teams that are in each conference. Of those 8, Kevin, are proficient 3-point shooting teams.
Bembry the pass to Plumlee. One-on-one fast break. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that,
Great anticipation and quick hands. Ginobili able to get his team off and running.
Cook dishes to Plumlee. Final quarter of play, about a minute and a half off the clock into it. Babbitt kicks to Brusino, 6 to shoot. Plumlee with a screen on Leonard. The Hawks again can't hit. For San Antonio, they've gone 2 for 5 on field goal attempts in the fourth quarter. And Anderson gets it to go.
I love the pace he's playing with, letting his offense come to him naturally and then building upon this lead for his team.
Passes it to Babbitt. Feeds to Cook. Here's Bembry from deep. Kawhi Leonard comes up with the rebound.
Well defended that time. He's a shooter that the D has to close down on quickly when he's ready to pull the trigger.
Just increasing their advantage, and right now they're in a zone on both ends.
Love their strategy, and they've been able to execute on it, building a huge lead.
Leonard brings the double team. Brusino kicks to Plumlee. The Hawks working the ball around. Plumlee with a screen on Leonard to end the run, and the layup is good.
To give a ton of credit to the screener there. That was a perfect pick to give his teammate the space to knock down the shot.
Out of bounds, Atlanta takes possession. Collins checked in for Luke Babbitt. San Antonio also making some changes. Laverne, he's checked in for Gasol. Gay comes in for Kawhi Leonard. And it's Green in for Manu Ginobili. In the corner, it's Plumlee. And it's slammed in by Plumlee.
Oh, how about using the rim to get some true hang time?
You know, he just wanted to make sure the landing was softer than the takeoff. The rebound by the Spurs. Here's White. It's rebounded by Brusino. Hawks have gone 3 of 7 from the floor in the fourth. That's a 42% mark in the quarter. From deep, drains the three-pointer.
And defensively, you have got to extend to their shooters. They have been on fire this half.
Yeah, and then the fear sets in that you're going to create driving lanes that could lead to easy buckets. This is not an easy fix.
For Atlanta, they've gone 4 of 8 in this fourth quarter, shooting an even 50% from the field. He dishes it to Cook. For 3. Another 3 for Atlanta.
And one team is just completely outclassing the other tonight. Spirited performance, and it really ignited what is turning out to be a monster win here for San Antonio.
This was a team performing to its fullest capability.
A hugely satisfying win. A game that not many will soon forget. And on the other side, one that I think most will try to forget.
And this will push their record to 39 wins in a good effort tonight.
And with this win, it gives them a sweep of the season series, even though it's just a brief 2-game.
And we watched one guy all night long, guys, and looking at the stats just confirms what a dominant game he had. What a night tonight it was for Pau Gasol.
Yeah, it felt like there was more than one of him out there tonight. He was involved on every possession, and he made his presence felt in so many ways. Slight change in the Hawks in terms of the front office responsibilities, as Coach Mike Budenholzer had been running the show, but he relinquished those responsibilities as Travis Schlenk came from the Golden State Warriors to head up the general manager's position.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Bertans comes in for Anderson, and it's DeJounte Murray in for White. Here's Bembry, and he dunks it down.
And guys, he saw his chance to earn a little camera time there and took it.
Rocking the rim with some major force.
And typically, he is not the major force in that regard, but good enough to punish a soft defense on that play.
Here's the Hawks with the ball. They're on a 12-4 run. To the inside, goes up off the pick, and he dunks it after the pick frees him up.
This is not the team we've been watching for most of the night.
It's a shame, because this is the team we expected to see, fighting on every possession. I think it's just too late.
Running up the score, showing no mercy.
Well, you want to close the door on any type of comeback effort. This has been a vault. Ka-ching.
You're right. And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. To come into an opponent's building and dominate the way they did tonight says, I think, Greg, an awful lot of...
automatic. The sky is falling, ain't